So today I will be talking about trade policies and organic food. So here is the brief overview of my talk today. First, I will give a general global market for organic products trend. And second, I will talk about the organic standards, especially the importance of organic standards, the trade conflicts with differing standards, then the ethical issues that are related in the trade of organic food. Then I will talk about the harmonization and equivalency of these organic standards, and finally the conclusion. So here you can see the global organic market. Here you can see the global organic market trends. In the first, on the left-hand side, as you can see that the market shares or the market for the organic retail sales by country in 2021. And you can see that USA has the largest market in organic retail sales, which is approximately 40%. Then it comes followed by Germany, then France, China, and Canada. In terms of region, Europe has the lead, approximately 44%, and then America, USA 43%, and then followed by Asia and Oceania. So when we consider the organic retail's highest per capita consumption, so it is Switzerland has the highest in-person per capita consumption of organic foods, followed by Denmark, Luxembourg, Austria, Sweden. So in 2021, actually, the global sales for organic food increased and reached to almost $136 billion. And after recorded growth in 2020, there was $17 billion increase, but it slowed down in 2021 by 5%. And the main reasons were the rising food prices and food security concerns. Rising food prices because of the inflation and because of the various political events. So there were some food security concerns. And as a result, the growth slowed down by 5% in 2021. Now, when we talk about organic products, the farming processes that's involved with the organic products are considered to be more environmental sustainable, and thus they are considered as ethically superior to organic food, to conventional products. So when we consider organic products, the farming processes, they are mainly more environmental sustainable, means they are mainly produced using crop rotation, non-synthetic chemicals or non-chemical treatments. So they are the ethical attributes that is attached with these organic products, they are invisible to the consumers. So as a result, what happens is if these products are in the market, there has to be some kind of information that has to be given to the consumers. Otherwise, there's no difference between this and the conventional products in terms of physical attributes. So what happens is there should be some mechanism to endorse this organic trade market. And there comes the setting up of standards and a system to label or certify organic goods that can help consumers to make an informed choice. So when it comes to organic standards, there are numerous organic standards like international standards, IFM, that is International Federation Organization of Agricultural Movements. Then we have Codex. Then national standards, we have US National Organic Programs. For Japan, we have Japanese Agricultural System. Then for EU, that's the new one, that's 2018-848, that's the regulation. That is the standard in the European Union. And these are some of the logos which they use to label the organic products, like the pictures it's given, like in the USA, it is the USDA organic that's level certified, certifying the organic products. In addition to this international national standards, there are also private standards which are specific to some countries like Bio-Austria, Bio-Switzerland, Natureland, Soil Association. So in the European Union, the minimum standard has to be the EU 2018-848. On top of that, some countries might have these private standards. So what happens is when there are so many standards across the world, so these differences in trade standards actually creates or this mill potential for trade conflicts. Now, when I say trade conflicts, this is an example of the heterogeneity which happens when we say different standards across countries. I've chosen two examples, like for labeling, when we label a product in two different countries. For instance, in USA, United States National Organic Program, it allows labeling of organic ingredients in products less than 70% organic. If it is less than 17% organic, US allows to label that as organic product. But in EU, they don't. If it is less than 70%, you don't label that as organic product. When we, in terms of crop and livestock production, there are some in USA, there are some buffer zones to prevent pesticide contamination or cross-fertilization from conventional crops. Whereas in EU, there is no windbreaks or buffer zones. And the EU member states even differ in the use of non-organic seeds. Then there is, because the organic seeds are more expensive, so the EU, they allow to use non-organic seeds sometimes if it is more expensive. There is also no limit on livestock manure application for US. For instance, nitrogen use might be much higher compared to the EU. They have some specific limitations to livestock manure. And even the private standards, which I mentioned before, they have even higher manure stock application cap. Also, there is no livestock identification at any stage of production in the US, restricts animal treated with antibiotics. Whereas in EU, for organic products to be certified as organic, they require identification at all stages of production. It allows antibiotics or medicines for animal treatment. Now, this is, so when we talk about, when we are talking about all these differences are centered around this IOFM principle. That is the international standard principle. That is a principle of health, principle of fairness, principle of ecology, and principle of care. So health means they want to sustain health of soil, plants, animals, and humans. Whereas fairness is it ensures fairness regarding to the common environment and life opportunities. Whereas principle of ecology, it sustains living ecological systems and cycles. Whereas care means it protects health and well-being of current and future generations and environment. So all these differences, different countries weigh these principles differently. And so we have these ethical differences in the standards across the countries. So now how to come to a trade agreement? Now there are two approaches to reconciliation. First is the equivalency, second is the harmonization. Now the harmonization adoption means you are adopting a common set of standards by countries. I am adopting a common set of standard of other country, which is quite difficult because it leads to some trade conflicts. There are difficulties in reaching an agreement on a single set of standards. And whereas the equivalency means I am recognizing the standard of another country as equivalent for trade purposes. So that, and it has been found through the studies that equivalency agreement has been the more practical approach to reconciling different organic standards for trading organic products. So currently, US has equivalency trade agreements with Canada since 2009. These are the trade pacts, all organic equivalency agreements. Then with EU since 2012, with Japan 2014 onwards, with South Korea 2014 onwards, with Switzerland 2015 onwards, and with Taiwan it is 2020. With Taiwan, they had only export agreement, but right now in 2020, they had the equivalency agreement. Means Taiwan can also export organic product to the US. Earlier, before 2020, it was only US who could export organic product. And then UK, it has just started. It is from 2021. Now, when I talk about this organic equivalency agreement or the OEA structure, what I mean is, suppose the standards in the US NOAP, that is the US National Organic Program, is equivalent to the EU Organic Program. That is the equivalency agreement. Now, organic foods that are certified by appropriate countries in each country or region will be marked as organic in the other country. So that is the trade agreement. Now, what are the differences? As they have many differences based on the principles. Now, the EU doesn't have 100% organic labeling category, whereas the US does. Now, what happens when the US exporters, they consider the in EU, the 95% above is considered organic. So for products, the US operations, they level any product above 95% as organic while selling to EU. And with the products that are containing 70 to 95% organic ingredients, the EU doesn't consider those as organic products, whereas US does. So how does the US exporters export those products? Only a percentage statement of organic content is displayed when they export those products to EU. Also, now there are some animal treated with antibiotics. The EU producers, they cannot mark that as organic when exporting to United States when any products are derived from animal treated with antibiotics. So similarly, the US producers, the crops produced using antibiotics like streptomycin in apples and pears cannot be shipped to the EU under this agreement. So though these are the agreements, but still they have the differences, and this is how they come to a common agreement while trading organic products across countries. Here is a brief about the US organic market trends. So as you can see from the graph, that the total value of US organic food products and imports are increasing. Imports have increased to $2.7 billion from 2011 to 21. As you can see, the blue line is increasing, and also the exports is increasing. And it's the total export and import includes approximately $3.4 billion in 2021. Now, organic share in 2021 was 6% only in the US, whereas the export share increased mildly from 0.3 to 0.5%, but the import share was very high. It was from 0.6 to 1.5%. Now, if you see the vertical lines with OEA, you can see that in 2012, we have an OEA agreement with the EU, and then there's a sharp increase in the export, a sharp increase in the imports, right? And then again, we have this OEA, then there was an increase. So with the OEA agreements, you can see that the import and the export are increasing with these agreements. Now I will come, this graph or the chart focuses on the OEA destination countries. Now, if you see from 2016 to 2020, you can see how the organic exports have grown over time by OEA destination countries. For example, Canada, it has grown from, these are in 1,000 metric tons. It has, in 2020, it's approximately close to 140,000 metric tons. So it has increased by 23%. Similarly, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, UK, it has all increased. UK is a new one, so we have to still see how it goes. But Taiwan, these are all between 20 to 25, 50%. There's an increase in the exports to these countries with these trade agreements. Now, those are in metric tons. Now, these are by destination. Now, what type of products are mainly exported by the US to these destination countries? Now, so my research has found that the organic edible fruits and nuts, especially the apples, grapes, berries, these are the main exports from US to Canada, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, UK, Netherlands. And second comes the organic vegetables and legumes. These are mainly like spinach, lettuce. These are highly exported products. And then we have organic oilseeds and grains. It has significantly increased. Exports of the US has significantly increased in this area. And mainly it is alfalfa and hay. Whereas organic beverages has also increased, and it's like apple cider vinegar or tomato sauce. These are the raw processed products which have increased because of this OEA agreements. And again, you can see that the Canada, especially the edible fruits and nuts, though they have increased only 1% in volume, but the value has really increased for the edible fruits and nuts, the export value. And the Canada being the highest, it's like 32%. Then followed by Japan, South Korea. No, Japan is the highest, and then followed by Canada, South Korea, and Taiwan. For Taiwan, 47%, it's also very high, the export. So as I mentioned, what is the value, the total value, the organic edible fruits and nuts, it's approximately 360 million US dollars export value of organic edible fruits and nuts, approximately $360 billion. Then vegetables and legumes, it has also increased by 10%. Organic oilseeds and grains increased by 546%. And organic beverages and spirits and vinegar, that has increased by 773%. So I will wrap up soon. So these are really increasing at a very high pace. The import picture is very different. You can see that the India, Mexico, Argentina, these are the highest countries that actually are the importers to the US. And the Canada is also there. And the imports mainly include organic bananas, avocados, and a variety of frozen fruits. So these are the models that have been used to identify, okay, what will be the OEA impact on US exports and imports? And it has been found that through the regression analysis and different gravity trade model, it has been found that US-Canada OEA agreement has the strongest effect on US organic exports. Whereas for imports is the Canada and the Japan agreements that have led to largest increases in US organic imports. So with what is the impact on the market participants? Consumers have more organic choices right now with these agreements. Producers can access new markets because without any additional certification in this agreement, they don't have to go to the second stage of certification process. And there's also growth of transparent system with a consistent set of rules that benefit both the participants. As you can see from this graph that the certified acres of organic acres has increased with respect to the organic food sales. So finally, the conclusion is with organic standards, desirable attributes could be communicated and consumers can make an informed choice. WTO, that's the World Trade Organization, does not have special provisions on organic food markets, but countries are expected to recognize certification equivalency, and these expectations are backed up by the WTO's TBT regulations. then recognizing standards through equivalency trade agreements can reduce the trade barriers and have impact both on consumers and producers of the trading partners. Thank you.